Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sata Shri Rupam Swagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sarvana Dadita Shri Vishakhanmitam Chacha Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Guru Abhishta Sapurakam Guru Ganarashisha Sambhushitam Chinta Chinta Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govinda Vidam Ujjalam Vartanam Bhaktianvitam Sundaram Mande Vishwa Gurum Cha Divya Bhagavat Premno Hibija Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandravadanam Balarkhachelanchitam Sandranandapuram Sadekavarnam Vairagya Vidyamudhurim Shri Siddhantanidhim Subhaktilasitam Sarasvatanambaram Vandetam Shubhadam Madhikasharanam Nyasiswaram Srīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tidito Gauriya Guruvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhat Gagane Yogaura Sankirtane Mayavadati Mingilo Daragatan Udbhritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sadabdiga Sukham Pradata Prabhum Tam Bhade Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gauranga Padma Bhrangaya Radha Bhavani Sevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudhanidhim Gaura Rajashita Shaira Vaishnavaira Vanna Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Vidya Vaishnavam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam bhaktarupa sarupakam bhaktavataram bhaktakyam namam bhaktashaktikam Namo Mahāvadānāya Krishna Prema Pradāyate Krishnāya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Tushe Namah Jayatam Surto Pangor Mamamannamatergati Matsarvasya Padam Bhojo Radha Madanamohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Śrīmad Ratnagara Singhāsanastau Shri Gandharva Śrīla Govinda Devo Prishthāla Vishe Vimano Smaram Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshi Vata Tatasthita Karshana Venu Shanir Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastana Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshascha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Sattvatai Namo Namah Athanatva Mantra Gurun Guruna Bhagavatarthadan Vyasan Jagat Guru Natva Tato Jayam Mudire Jaya Sa Parikara Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Pal Padmanam Jayastu Jaya Sa Parikara Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Yupad Padmanam Dastu Sakala Vaishnava Pade Moru Namaskara Ithe Kichu Aparadana Kama Oya Chena Oibena Prabhu Rajato Bhaktajan Vandana Koryami Savar Charan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sāstang Dandat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, worldwide serving at the lotus feet of Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswāmī Mahārāj, Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Srīdhar Dev Goswāmī Mahārāj, and Vishwavarenya Om Vishnupad Om Vishwavarenya Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All the servitors and Seva Vrinda, Bhakta Vrinda, welcome. Pranams, Dandavat Pranams at your lotus feet. To all the well-wishers and sincere seekers, welcome to our Saturday morning Bhagavad Gītā session that we are coming live to you from the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram, Soquel, California. We're gonna start with our kirtans section led by Lavanya Sundari and Radharani Didi, and today they're going to be joined by Nandakishore Prabhu. So we're going to begin, and then after that we're going to take up our Bhagavad Gītā reading.
Okay. She needs space. I'll take little guys today. I'll take little guys. So we'll start with Shri Guru Charana Padma, page 74. Bhaja Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Bhaja Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma.
Shri Guru Charana
Bando Mui Sabadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai অবতরিয়া যায়। কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হতে, গুরু মুখ পদ্মা বাক্যা চিত্তে করিয়া আরণ করিহ মনে আশা, শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি সেই সেই উত্তম গতি। যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্বয়াসা, যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্বয়াসা, खुदान दिल जय जन्म जन्म प्रभु से, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित, प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते, प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते, वेद गाय जहाँ चरित, श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु राधम जनार बंधु, लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन, लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन, प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पाद छाया,
प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पाद छाया,
एबे जा सुखी भुवना,
जा सुखी भुवना,
ए आदम लइल शरणा,
धमलोई चरणा,
ए आदम लइल शरणा,
धमलोई चरणा,
तुया पादे लइल शरणा,
पदे लोई चरणा,
आमी शरणिला, आमी शरणिलम है, अभय श्रीपाद तन्मे शरणिलम है, दया करो है আমায় দয়া করো হে, পতিত পাবন শ্রী গুরুদেব দয়া করো হে, অগম পতিতা জনে দয়া করো হে,
পিতা জেনে দয়া করো হে
গুরুদেব 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 জয় গুরুদেব
জয়
Okay. Next we'll do Akrodha paramānanda next. 125. Akrodha paramānanda nityananda rai. Akrodha paramānanda nityananda rai. Abhimana shunya nitai nagare bedai. Abhimana shunya nitai nagare bedai. Adama patita jibe dare dare giya. Adama patita jibe dare dare giya. Hari nama maha mantra dena bilaiya. Jar dekhe tar kohe dante trina kori. Jar dekhe tar kohe dante trina kori. Amare kini aloho bhaja gaura hari. Akrodha paramānanda nityananda rai. Akrodha paramānanda nityananda rai. Abhimana shunya nitai nagare bedai. Eta boli nityananda bhume godi jai. Sonar parvata jena dhulate lotai. Sonar parvata jena dhulate lotai. He noya bata ratina janilo. He noya bata re ratina janilo.
Jai Chaitanya Bolo Gaura Hari.
Gaura Hari 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 Bolo Gaura Hari.
Nitya Chaitanya Bolo Gaura Hari.
Jai Chaitanya Bolo Gaura Hari.
Gaya Lita, Gaya Lita, Gaya Lita, Gaya Lita.
Royalita, 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 Royalita.
Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari.
Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari.
Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari.
Bhaja Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Bhaja Gaura Hari. Jai.
Page 182, for those that are following. কবে হবে বলো সেদিন আমার
কবে হবে বলো সেদিন আমার।
কবে হবে বলো সেদিন আমার
কবে হবে বলো সেদিন আমার।
আমার অপরাধ গুচি শুদ্ধা নামে রুচি কৃপা বলে হবে হৃদয়ে সঞ্চার
অপরাধ গুচি শুদ্ধ নামে রুচি
কৃপা বলে হবে হৃদয়ে সঞ্চার কবে হবে বলো সেদিন আমার কাহি কবে নিজ মানি সহিষ্ণুতা গুণ হৃদয়তে আনি কবে নিজ মানি সহিষ্ণুতা গুণ হৃদয়তে সকলে মান দয়া পানিয়া মানি মান দয়া পানিয়া মানি হয়ে অস্বাদিব নমরা সাসার জন জনায়ার কবিতা সুন্দরী বলিব না চাহি দেহ সুখা করি জন্মে জন্মে দাও হে গৌরা হরি
जन्मे गायो हे गौरा हरि
जन्मे जन्मे दायो है गौरा हरि
जन्मे जन्मे गौरा हरि
आए तो की भक्ति करने तुम्हार कबे आगे बोलो सेदिन आया Śrī Kṛṣṇa namayuttara pudakita deho gadadavachan Dharvanya ve patu hobe sangatan Dharvanya ve patu hobe sangatan বেড়াইব ছুটে নাচিয়া গাইয়া বেড়াইব ছুটে বাতুলের প্রায় ছাড়িয়া বিচার তবে হবে বলো সেদিন তবে নিত্যানন্দ মোরে করি দয়া ছড়াইবে মোর বিষয়ের মায়া দিয়া মোরে নিজা চরণের ছায়া দিয়া মোরে নিজা চরণের ছায়া নামেরা হাটেতে দিবে অধিকার তিনি বলুটিব হরি নামরাত নামরাতে মাতি হইব বিবাদ নামরাত মাতি হইব বিবাদ রসেরা রসিকা চরণ পারাত রসেরা রসিকা চরণ পারাত করিয়া মজিব রসয়া নিবাস তবে হবে বলো সেদিন কবে জীবে দয়া হইবে ওদায় নিজ সুখা বলে সুদিনারে দায় ভকতি বিনোদা করিয়া বিনয় ভকতি বিনোদা করিয়া বিনয় ভকতি বিনোদা করিয়া বিনয় ভকতি বিনোদা করিয়া বিনয় আজ্ঞাত করিবে তবে হবে বলো সেদিন তবে হবে বলো সেদিন জয় জয় Guru.
Just fine.
Wonderful ecstatic kirtan by Gen Z.
I am millennial, okay? She's not.
Hare Krishna. Well, you're still old enough to be my daughter, so that's okay. Beautiful. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. Gaur Hari. So we're on chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gītā. We'll begin with verse 52. Let's chant verse 52, 53, and 54. So let's do these three and then we'll start reading. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha shruti vipratipapanna te yatha sthāsyati nischala samadha chala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Arjuna vacha Sthita praggasya ka bhāṣā samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhiha kim prabhāṣeta kimasita brajeta kim. One more time. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthāsyati nischala samadha chala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Arjuna vacha sthita praggasya ka bhāṣā samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhiha kim prabhāṣeta kimasita brajeta kim. So,
Which page we are?
We're on 41.
Which
We were
chapter?
doing
chapter 2, verse 52.
Thank you, sorry.
No problem. So, you want to start reading?
Not there in the page.
Okay, let's start with Lavanya. Do you have? I can start reading if you want.
52. When your intelligence fully emerges from the dense forest of illusion, you will be indifferent to all that has been heard or is yet to be heard.
Okay, 53.
You shall attain perfect yoga or pure devotion when your intelligence, undisturbed by the apparent contradictions of the Vedas, abides in the Lord.
Chai.
Arjuna said, "O Kesava, what are the characteristics of the person who is established in wisdom, who is fully absorbed in consciousness of the Supreme Samadhi? How does such a man of a steady mind speak, being act in the world?"
Jai. So here, Śrī Arjuna wants to know about how a person who has reached that stage of equanimity, tranquility, of the absolute, what are the symptoms essentially? So just out of curiosity, he wants to know. And in here, the Lord is giving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, he's giving more or less like an overview, overall symptoms in a general way. So, any questions or any comments till here? So should we continue?
Isn't that the natural situation of the one who is sincerely worshipping the soul is all the qualities of the soul. Those qualities are of the soul, not of the physical body, the senses of the mind. So how we can be have equanimity when we have still in the body.
So that is possible, is what is being said. And that's a good thing, because you're right, we're like being hit from all sides by all kinds of things, and everything's coming to us one way or another, physical, mental, subtle. And so I think he's right in, like, how can this level be reached? And at this time, Arjuna, the way he is bewildered is pretty much kind of like what you're saying. So he's asking, like, how does such a person act, or what are their symptoms? Can you tell me more? Because what you're speaking till now seems unreachable and ungettable to me. So he's kind of representing us, you can say, like, we don't know what that kind of stillness and that kind of tranquility is, that non-dual. So please tell us. So we're also looking to the Supreme Lord to tell us. So let's read where he says, and we'll try and go step by step. So what I was thinking was we can do 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. Let's do till 61. Let's just chant till 61. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvana Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmana Tushta Stitadhi Sitapragyastadocchate Dukkheshanudvigna Manaha Sukheshu Vigatspraha Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Stitadhira Munirucchate Yah sarvatrana abhisneyas tat prapya shubha shubham na vinandati na dveshti tasya pragya pratishtita yada samharate chayam kurma angani va sarvasha indriyani indriyarathe bhayas tasya pragya pratishtita vishaya vinivartante Niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasavapyasya param drishtava nivartate yatato hayapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham mana tani sarvani sanyamya yukta sita matpara Vashehi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. Okay. You want to chant it one more time? Or? Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Prajahati yada kaman sarvana partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushta stita pragyasa tadocchate Dukkheshanudvigna manaha sukheshu vigatspraha Vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhira muniruchyate yas sarvatrana visnehas tat prapya shubha shubham na bhinandati na deshti tasya pragya pratishtita yada sangharate chayam kurmau angani va sarvasha indriyani indriyai bharte bhayas tasya pragya pratishtita vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam raso apyasya param drishtava nivartate yatato hayapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschita indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham mana tani sarvani sanyamya yukta sitamatpara vashehi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. Okay, let's start with Lavanya.
'55. The Supreme Lord said, O Father, one who rejects all desires that enter the mind and remains self-satisfied within is known as a person whose wisdom is firmly established.
One who is undisturbed by sorrow, whose hankering for pleasure has gone, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is known as a silent sage of a steady mind.
One who is not attached to anything in this world, who is neither enjoys nor resents auspiciousness or inauspiciousness, his wisdom is firmly established.
When one's senses are controlled and totally withdrawn from their objects, like the limbs of a tortoise withdrawn in its shell, his wisdom is firmly established.
The embodied being may renounce the sense objects, but the taste for them remains. But that too vanishes for the man of wisdom by his vision of the Supreme.
And yet, O son of Kunti, the turbulent senses can forcibly plunder the mind of even the wise person striving for liberation. '61.
Devoted to me, the Bhakti yogi brings his senses under proper control. Firmly established is the wisdom of one whose senses are controlled.
So these are the symptoms of someone of personality who has reached that stage of tranquility and reached that non-dual level. So there, because of that touch of that higher dimension, the intelligence, pragya, so he repeats this, tasya pragya pratishtita. So pragya is the intelligence, how that is firmly established. So if you notice, there is a pattern where the dualities that cause the intelligence to waver and be fragmented is not happening in the general explanation that he is giving. So many examples in these verses that he's given: auspicious, inauspicious, neither desiring nor rejecting. So those represent the dualities of this plane that we are on. So one in even slightly in touch with the higher non-dual reality, they will not be bothered that much with this, because one particular verse, he says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasoptasya param drishtava nivartate. So that's verse, I think, 59. So 59 gives that that situation where externally one may renounce, like, no, I will not do this, I will not engage myself in mundane activities of various kinds. But the mind still dwells on the objects of the senses. You cannot stop the mind. But then it says even that is brought into proper focus and balance once param drishtava nivartate. Once that taste of that higher taste is acquired with that higher vision, once we have some touch of that higher plane, then the lower taste, because the mind is like that and the intelligence is like that, they will always, they're hardwired into the sensual network, and we are so used to deriving pleasure from that side. Now another dimension is presented to the mind, and the mind realizes that with the intelligence that the pleasure that I was getting from these dualities is actually nothing compared to this. Then that choice is made, then that choice is natural because of a higher taste, acquiring a higher taste, rather than forcing, no, I will not do this, I will not engage in material activities. That is endeavor. That stage is endeavoring. But here he's saying, once having gotten that touch, then it cannot but be that the mind and the intelligence is attracted to that higher plane. Then there is no way to get the mind and the intelligence back into duality. Because it will never settle for a lower taste. That's how we are. You look at yourselves, I look at myself, some higher taste, we'll go towards that. So here the Lord is saying that, you have, Madhav Prabhu?
I'm thinking the term forcibly plunder is into play here. So there is a engagement. We are definitely having a confrontation with the enemy.
So while someone is endeavoring to reach that plane, it's saying that the senses are so turbulent and they're so strong, and we are so hardwired into the sensory network. It's but natural for us. So any of the objects grabs the senses and attracts, and the mind follows, gone. That's how, because all the other senses will rush. It's not like just one. No, one, and then engagement with the object, and then all the others will come in. What we want, what is that? Like vultures.
Great vision.
They will go and devour the carcass.
We can do that.
Yes, because this is the plane of death. So they will all be attracted to carcasses of various kinds. And then one is attracted, and then you let it engage, that's it. It's too late. Once that engagement starts, So
reached it. Everything flows.
then all others will go there, and you rather than you being in control, you will be controlled by those senses in engagement with their objects. So he's slowly giving finer and finer details for us to know ourselves, our system a lot better. So we can manage ourselves a lot better, because as we go further, the deeper information, the deeper knowledge will only actually blossom if we're somewhat self-disciplined in the minimum. That self-discipline, which is not like, well, are you obedient or not? No, it's out of some inner necessity that it's like I will follow that. So those who have reached that stage or who endeavor for that, further knowledge will become useful and practical for those kinds of personalities. And so, in my view, that's also one of the reasons why these symptoms are given, because these symptoms are so, on the surface, ungettable, like Adi Prabhu was saying, that we have this question, we always have this question, well, and Arjuna kindly asked Lord Krishna on our behalf, so this gives us some insight into how our internal systems are working. So the network of the senses is that, and then the CPU, the central processing unit, is like the mind, and then above that is the intelligence, and they're all working in tandems, and then trying to extract, in the end, getting some experience, and then from that trying to extract some pleasure, which shadows rasa, which we call mellows, the different kinds of mellows. So it's trying to extract something like that, but in the shadow world. And we're always perplexed, because what I was thinking, I never got from this engagement. There's always something missing, some want unsatisfied. And so that's why desires are endless. And they keep driving that whole mechanism. And action, reaction, action, reaction. So this is Sāṅkhya-yoga. So analytically, it's, kind of getting into some granularity of senses, the objects of the senses, the engagement between them, and how to not let that happen as much as we can. And so for that we rely on, our cultivation, the various activities, the regulation, self-imposed regulations. So all of those, like in the Śrīpada we're given these various vegas, starting with Vacho Vegam, to not to become a mute, not to, but to be regulated, to self-discipline is what is intended. So we have to see why are the acharyas, why are they asking me to have this regulation? Because of this reason. Yeah, please.
Exists the danger of repetition, which is how the mind functions in his dictatorship of our life. Because the mind want to be the boss. They don't want to be, the mind don't want to be the servant. want to be the boss. So when I engage in my studies of Krishna consciousness and coming to lectures and read Gita, Bhagavatam, and all this beautiful, then I come to the realization, the repetition has gone to the objectifier, something that is not an object. Spiritual life is not an object. And contaminate my senses in my development as a practitioner, going back to the source. So, do you think the education, this part is an education of the mind, bringing awareness to that particular intelligence of the mind? The duality of it, like good, bad. And in India they use the coin of the two sides. And it talks in the chapter about the silence of it, to find the silence in the narrative of the quest to looking for going back to the natural, no condition, but the naturalness of what we, in principle, what we are, the whole of existence. Not just me, you, the whole of existence.
So the repetition is necessary for us at every step. That's my view. You may differ, but how I understood...
Seek the danger of misidentification in the mind, which is so drive to objectify things.
Jai Vidura Prabhu, Dandavats. So in my view, I read about the senses and I read about the network 30 years back, and it meant something entirely different to me then. I'm still reading it, and it means entirely a different level to me. And so by that I can tell that it is getting somewhere. And I will keep reading it. I will never be done with chapter 2. That is a practitioner. Practitioner does not mean that I'm done with this, ever. Spiritual. So, repetition is something that is essential if we are to factually make any progress. Again, it's an inward journey. We're not to change or impose my will on the environment. I am to go inward. And how, to what depth, that is the key. We have to go deep. Then we find there's a deeper level. And then we find there's deepest. So never to get tired, and always know that this is an ongoing process, and the disengagement of the senses from their objects is much easier said than done. So it's work in progress. And to what level of discipline we can impose on ourselves, that is really the difference. And the sum and substance of practice is that attitude. If we have that attitude, then everything is possible and everything is available. But to begin with, if we I have a different view than what's given in the Gita. There we go. I'm not saying about you, but I'm just saying in general, people go, well, it's mentioned here, but I have a different view. Well, of course you have a different view. That's why we're here. So why the mind is so fickle and why it rebels is a reflection of why the mind is like that, is because our choice is like that. All of that alignment is because of our will to come here and enjoy. And so that's why all our network is going to be as if we're going against the grain in the beginning. So it will feel like that. But this, the view that someone can give like he is giving is because he's out of that system. He's not part of the system. So only he can give that view because he is not part of this system. So that's why he is giving this apaurusheya knowledge about how my mind works, and I can take clues from that. I can take that, and I can, with that information, I can go in deeper within my own system and go, okay, this is the sensual urge. This is the fickleness of the mind. This is the undecisiveness of the intelligence. So then we can actually feel them.
So how important it will be then, therefore, self-criticism?
For one's actual growth, not to beat oneself down. So I just call it self-analysis. I won't call it self-criticism. I would just call it self-analysis. So self-analysis is always good. It's recommended to the extent that you don't criticize yourself just to make a show of it to yourself, or just beat yourself down and go, I'm useless. Well, what does that do in a positive sense? Like if I just go, I'm useless, and then keep doing the stuff that,
Say I'm useless and then prove it.
And then keep proving it again and again. Keep proving it again and again. So, what have I learned from that? Once, I understand, everyone makes mistakes. Twice, or 3 times, 4 times, 5, well, then we know that there's something entirely wrong. You got to get back to the drawing board. So that's why. But repetition, in terms of our practice, it's required till we come into that culture of discipline. Self-discipline. It's not like the army. Like you have to. No, you don't have to anything.
How about the criticism that comes from the outside in, from so-called practitioners that think they know better than you?
Oh, yeah, sure, take it positively. Offer honor to others all the time. Take it, and when self-analysis is going on, include that. If that fits, fantastic. Then go, Dandavats, that really improved me. That improved me. What you said, or what, such and such said, that improved me. And so why should I not thank them? Even if they said it like spitefully or like, you need to do this. But it did improve me somehow. But if it doesn't, then it's still okay. We don't have to like return the favor. Like, oh, you try to correct me? Now watch me. You need to do. There's no need to. See, that's action reaction. See, action is so important. Next is like karma yoga. Because most of the things that we do, see it finally, I'm not saying all of them, most of them are reactionary. Reactionary means because this happened to me, now I shall do this. It's like you don't really know how action is happening or how it should be formulated. oh, what are the bases of action? So it's all reactionary. Oh, so you said this, now watch. You said this, now watch. It's endless. Now they'll go, oh, he said this, now we'll get him. So that's something that one has to be aware of. Again, repetition is good because that kind of situation will come. And then how we adjust to that particular situation, and you watch, you adjust yourself 3, 4, 5 times, it will stop. It will never reappear. Then the environment will realize, Adi is making real progress toward me. He wants to come to me. That's how I see it. But we have to initially make those sacrifices and hello, Dandavats. Namaskar. Please have a seat. So that's how we make. Yeah, you can take a copy of each for the reading that we're. Does that make sense? So if someone thinks it's just primary, it's just chapter 2, and I was done 10 years back. Well, Dandavats if you were done, and we actually, pay full Dandavats, but I'm a student, so I will never say like this thing is done. It's all work in progress. So it's all process. Yeah, if there is important things that you can contribute, absolutely, why not? Why would I not, or anyone, reject that? That would be just totally egotistical. So we have some new guests and I want to welcome them. Namaskar. So you're local here, or how did?
We're from Santa Cruz and we were looking for a temple.
Jai, very nice. Your good name?
Sujot.
Sujot.
Yes.
I'm Kriti.
Kriti.
Yeah.
Jai. I'm Jairam, and this is our family.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So you're familiar with Bhagavad Gītā?
I've never read it, but I know what it is, yeah.
How about you, Sujot?
Same. I have never read it, but I know some teachings of it and all.
Excellent. What do you think it is? I mean, what do you think Bhagavad Gītā is? I'm not, this is not something like right or wrong. I'm just asking for your opinion, if you have any. If you don't, even then it's fine.
I think the one thing that has been taught through it is you should focus on your karma and not really worry about, the implications or the result or the fruits that you'll get from there. Like, do your duty.
Beautiful. We just read that verse in our last, so you're perfect. She actually she comes in and tells us, this is where you're at. Hare Krishna. How about you, Sujot?
I can't recall anything, but like specifically what she said, right? Yeah, it's something
wonderful
that we follow.
That's beautiful. That's so wonderful. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhur ma te sangostva akarmani. Right? That's the one?
I think so.
So it ends with ma te sangostva akarmani. So we were talking one time, like he could have said vikarmani, means bad deeds. But why did he say don't be inclined to inaction? Because if one says inaction, he's not really bothered about good or bad. Because if he were all about good action, he would have said na te sangosta vikarmani. But he didn't say that. So actually, akarma is more dangerous. Not doing anything, not endeavoring is the most dangerous. So we always have to be engaged somehow. And that's one discussion that we had.
So is that because even when you do bad acts, that the Lord has a way of using that to help you improve yourself and to go down your path?
It's a possibility, right? That doesn't mean at the same time that I am going to endeavor in the wrong direction. I won't do that. But it does mean that if I'm endeavoring and if there are mistakes or problems, then they can be set right. But if I am not endeavoring, I'm just out of luck. Then where's the question of any kind of reformation or then it is what it is, just stagnant.
But you mentioned also that is contrary to the nature of the soul.
Absolute joy. It is contrary to the nature of the soul. The soul, as a unit of consciousness, we always are active. So it is artificial to even project in any way of thinking that at the highest stage or any stage or the ultimate stage is inactive. So that's why he says, Mate sangostva akarmani.
I just remember in our discussion, it also, like, later on in Śrīmad Gītā, the Lord goes a step further. He goes many steps further, but he also says, not only you do action and not worry about the results of the fruit, but you offer whatever action you're doing, do that for me.
Hare Krishna.
And then that completely changes the complexion of what action means.
Then you're home safe.
Joy. Yes. See, when we come together, see how it just flows like that and it can come from anywhere. And how beautiful is that? Not just be, so always step by step by step. That's how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, that's how he does. He always goes step by step by step by step by step. It's not like here, now you're enlightened. So it's always step by step by step. So
Very encouraging.
right?
If you're stuck in the first step.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether first or the 10th or... See, yeah, go ahead.
Just once again, I'm referring back to the Bible or where I'm learning it from. It says, line upon line, precept by precept, degree by degree, you ascend. There are no shortcuts.
Yeah. And here, ascension doesn't mean...
No, ascending meaning awareness.
Means going deeper into one's own self. That's what ultimately it is. It's not something by our abilities that one can acquire. So to go towards divinity is like actually going towards infinity. So you can't put infinity in your pocket, can you? I mean, that's like a misnomer, like, oh, I've got infinity. No, you can never have that. One can never have that. Guru Maharaj says, he is the unknown and unknowable. Not just the unknown, but the unknowable.
And it's also a mystery.
Yeah.
Until you know it.
Enchanted, mystery, all kinds of things. But entertainment, but it's reality. And we have that reality. It's beautiful. He's the highest harmony. So what is beauty to the eyes is it's pleasing, music to the ears is pleasing, so the principle is harmony. Now imagine all the senses, all the paraphernalia being attracted to him, because he's the highest harmony. So you can get some sense.
Going back to that saying, you say you cannot put it, the infinity, you cannot put it in your pocket. Then it makes me to think about the soul is smaller than the end of the hair. You know, smaller than the smaller than the smaller. So I say, oh, I can put that one in my pocket.
So you just objectified something which is not an object.
That's what I share, to know what I'm doing.
If the infinite cannot fit in a pocket, is it really infinite?
Yeah, that's true too. You know, but that's by his unchallenged autocracy. By that feature, that he can do whatever he pleases. You can't question. He can fit anywhere. Anu Raniyan, Mato. He is in the smallest of the particles he's pervading as Paramatma, the controller. He's pervading everything. So he can fit anywhere.
Sarcastically against me, I would say the fluidity of my intelligence can think this kind of thing and deceive me into fails in my quest for reality. Isn't it?
So you're saying he can deceive you?
I say the packet and I make the, it can be objectified, but my mind, or the mind that I think is mine, which is no mine, is conditioned to think that way.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I suppose that in order to keep inquire and repeat, in order to keep fluidity of thoughts and don't get caught in the knot.
So next time some crazy thought enters, because we see the thing is with the mind, all the time thoughts keep entering, and most of them are crazy. So can you stop that, the craziness from entering my system? So then what can we do?
Create a distance and engage myself in
No.
things that are favorable.
To begin with, we cannot act on those in a simple line. Some crazy thoughts flowing through, let it flow through.
Well, they come and go. In the material world, things comes and goes.
So that's how we begin, and that's a practice. So that's a practice. When one is a practitioner, that's one of the practices, one of the main practices. So let's read, if you permit, let's read verses 62, 63. These are key. That's it?
We were actually just exploring to see like what.
Okay, sure.
Really know.
No, absolutely. You can.
Following this class, we're gonna have our arati ceremony, and then we're gonna serve our feast. So you are our guests for both of those as well.
Thank you. I think maybe next time.
Yeah.
Next time will be.
We have guests coming today, so we are on our way to sort of.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very nice so that you dropped in, and
It's nice to see you.
always, yeah. Please come every Saturday. We have the class here.
How did you find out about us to begin with?
On Google,
Jai.
and And we met Rajni. And,
Okay.
She told us about this. Yeah.
Well,
So thank you.
very nice to meet you guys. Hare Krishna. So verses 62 and 63 are very key. And I call them the domino effect.
Domino?
Domino effect, like, you know, one domino falls on the other and then that sets like a thing. So let's read them, let's chant them, 62 and 63. Dhyato vishyan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate krodhad bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti bhramshad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. Yeah, we can go on, but just these two, let's just read these. You want to chant them one more time? Okay. Dhyayato vishyan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate krodad bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti bhramshad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. Okay, who would like to read? Vidura Prabhu, would you like to read?
But one whose thoughts dwell on the objects of the senses becomes attached to them. From attachment, desire is born, and from desire, anger arises.
Anger gives rise to delusion, and the power of delusion causes forgetfulness. Forgetfulness destroys the intelligence, and when the intelligence is lost, one loses all.
So that is the domino effect. And I think it's Sakhi Charan. He has these two tattooed on his arm, these two verses.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is actually a good thing. If you ever forget, you can go, oh, okay, it's beginning.
Talk about attachment.
So, dhyata vishyan pumsa. So, it starts with dwelling on the object. That's where it starts. What you think of. Sangasteshu pajayate. And from there, the attachment begins, a sense becomes attached to them, to the object. And then it runs. And from attachment, desire, now you desire. And then once there is frustration, then anger. Oh, why didn't I get that? Or why am I not being able to taste that? And then what anger does? Delusion. So you know the difference between illusion and delusion? Go ahead.
Yeah, illusion is illusion is seeing something incorrectly, and delusion is seeing something that's not there.
Yeah, good.
Illusion is misidentification. Delusion is you're seeing something that's not actually there.
That's the difference. So illusion is maya. Ma means no, ya. That what you see, that what you conceive of, it's not how it is in reality. That means maya. Maya is illusion. But delusion is you see what's not there. So anger gives rise to delusion. So it's compounding the problem. You're already in illusion. Oh, I didn't see Dandavats. Shranangi Didi. Dandavats. So this gives rise to delusion. gives rise to something within our system which is not there, and then we start negatively feeding on that. But delusion causes forgetfulness. Forgetfulness of what? Primarily. Can anyone say?
Of her nature and relationship with the Lord.
Beautiful. She keeps reminding us it's her class. Jai. Yes, exactly. At the very basic, forgetfulness can be about a lot of other things, but primarily of our relation and who we are. Primarily. And then when that happens, that destroys the intelligence, because then how will intelligence guide? The system's corrupted. There's corruption in the firmware. So now, when intelligence is lost, then one cannot make any good decisions, and then everything is lost. So, by this you can tell that a person creates their own heaven and their own hell in one sense. We have the freedom to do that. So many conceptions of heaven and hell exist. Here, the way these dominoes are falling, it tells us if there was this person, they've created their own hell. What can be done? So it's very essential that we keep these basic perspectives no matter where we're at, because at any time, any sense can run towards their object and it can just hijack all of it. So because of that. So that's why it's important. And if we see someone is losing themselves like that, then we should help if we can. And the best way to help is to read the verses, right?
What if you want to give up your intelligence?
Give up your intelligence?
Like Guru Maharaj told Gurudev, you want to use your mind or listen to me, right? And you go, right?
That's at the level of the mind, because intelligence truly is it acts on the inputs of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if one is listening to the mind, which is what usually happens, so here the thing is, like you have a CPU, if someone is saying don't use that, I have an alternative for you and I'm going to wire that. So that's like liberation right there on a plate, served. If you go, if you, like he says, Karishye vachanam tava. There is one line. He says, Arjuna says toward the end, he says, Karishye vachanam tava. Means, same thing, like, I'm not going to use my mind, I will do exactly what you say. What you tell me, I will do all of it. Done. Then one doesn't need to intricately go, well, is this okay or not? No need. In one go.
You're bypassing the dominoes.
By the marks of the vaishnavas.
Done. That's like the ultimate liberation. You don't have to be careful and be all of that. If he's saying that, it's coming from that higher platform, done. And if you agree, and if you're actually doing it, well, that's the biggest boon. Can you listen to me? Can you follow me and not your mind? That's the proposition. Actually, easier accepted than followed, because being hardwired, one would say, no, I'm going to listen to the mind. Why would some external person dictate such and such or tell me such and such? But that is the true humility of, true Vaishnava, that would be able to recognize where that vibration's coming from and go, no, I would happily surrender to that. And right there is material life finished.
Prabhu, isn't our goal to use the intelligence to control the mind? To direct the mind? Because the mind accepts and rejects, that's its job, right?
It's to work in tandems, I would say, is better, because their functions are different. As I see it, like really intricately, mind to follow intelligence or to be in agreement with intelligence, it can't really. It'll follow inputs. Intelligence is more an analysis and like that. So they work in tandems.
But isn't the intelligence above the mind?
Yes, it is. It's a faculty and it's a principle that is, we're told, is above the mind. Above dull matter is the senses, and above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence, and then it's the soul plane.
It's like if we can utilize our intelligence to control the mind.
Well, that would be really wonderful, but...
But isn't that our goal? I mean, like, aren't we trying to proceed in that direction? Like Prabhupada used to tell us, beat your mind with a shoe.
It's like self-analysis.
Wouldn't it be like what we think is intelligence is not actual intelligence? Because like the background we were coming from, like most of us, we don't have proper understanding of the scriptures and proper understanding of Dharma or the goal of life. So it's like this so-called mundane intelligence that we think is intelligence. It's like pushing us down to the comfort zone, to the material existence. So it's really hard to know. It's like if our intelligence is properly situated to direct us to the scriptures and to our Guru's instructions, to our Dharma and to the goal of life.
Joy. I would say, Shranagi Didi, that intelligence, by what again, I'm a student, so I'm just like putting this out there, is it doesn't exert control like actively. Mind does. Mind tries to like control. It likes that. Intelligence, good intelligence, bad intelligence.
But if we use our intelligence to accept the instructions of Guru, the Shastra, all that, then under that umbrella to direct our mind.
Yeah. That would be ideal, but it doesn't quite. It doesn't quite work that way. Usually, because make it a friend. That's what we're told. Make the mind a friend, not your enemy. It has the propensity to be both. To control the mind entirely is
Capturing the wind.
it's easier to control the wind. And why he said that is also because mind is of a finer fabric. Wind is still an element. Elemental control is he already had. Mind he can catch. What is it? So intelligence is even finer because it's more subtle, just like kind of under false ego, you can say. So with good intelligence, you could question what the mind is proposing, you could question in a way, and then make it your friend, rather than control, exert control. That principle in its essential function is not meant for that. One may use and do it to a certain extent, but with the mind, the intelligence is best like in tandems, as friends. So mind and intelligence, that's how I would kind of put it, is with good intelligence, then you tell the mind, and then the mind follows and then sees, oh, what I had as other options weren't as good as that. So yeah, this is better, and then the mind follows. So just like the higher taste, when the higher taste comes, then mind doesn't question. Because we're wired like that, so the mind will not even propose duality. It will go for the higher taste automatically. It'll be like tamed, domesticated. And then and then intelligence rules. But till such time that that's not the case, we have to be careful. Because this network that is feeding into the mind is so powerful, any amount of good intelligence will not stand against, that kind of a current. Sorry.
But even if a person or a devotee is so-called properly situated like a spiritual sadhana or practice, we should always do what Vidura says, put our intelligence aside and follow the instructions of the Guru. Because we can say oh, we have spiritual desires, for example, I want to worship this deity or that deity. Or in my case, I can with Mahārāj say oh, I've always been attracted to worship Shalaram Shilas. And you might say, oh, what's wrong with that? Shalaram Shila is such a beautiful deity and manifestation. But what he says, no. You see? So even when we think we are properly situated, and even when we think that is our intelligence is leading us in the spiritual path, even according to Shastras, we should have a Guru and follow his instructions. And we should do that, put our intelligence aside and follow those instructions.
That's true. For a stage, but then at higher stage, this is what we're told. I'm just going by Guru Mahārāj. To real test is to be able to tell, to worship such and such, or to do this activity, or to have this particular thing. Where is that inspiration coming from? If by higher grace I can identify, then it's perfect. Then I can tell this is at the level of intelligence, this is at the level of mind, or this is just sensual, or it's coming from the higher plane. And where from in the higher plane? if one has that, then it's perfect. Then actually you can do that. Oh yeah, now we have to do this. Now we have to do this.
Oh, that's like a Uttama person.
That's what I'm saying. Those are levels that are explained. So in meditation, and when we do this introspection, that we have to be able to completely isolate these different principles and be able to be in touch with them in reality as to how they function. What is it that the mind does? Or what is it that the intelligence is? What is it made of? How does it function? All of these things, we have to be in touch with, or we will come in touch with as we proceed. And as we are getting subtler and subtler into subtle regions, when we know. For example, pranavayu, there's this flow of subtle air, but we have no conception of subtle air. What does subtle air mean? But that's how our energy is moving within the body. But we have no clue of it. We are not controlling it. We can never control it. But it will come into focus sometime. When we are at that subtle level, then it'll be apparent. We're told like that. Then there'll be no question. But until then, you can discuss as much as you want. Yeah, sorry.
Maybe it would be helpful for me, especially if you could just distinguish the difference in subtlety or difference in characteristics between the mind and the intelligence.
That's what we were talking about. Mostly it's mind would primarily go into various propositions that are being brought to it by the central network. Primarily that's what it does. And then it tries to go, oh, this is so good, that's much better. And then the various senses are, it aggregates and then gives, 1, choice 2, choice 3, pushes it up to the intelligence. Intelligence weighs it. Consequences. What is the consequence of 1? What is the consequence of, I'm going to be famous. Let's pick that. Second, I'm going to get rich. Let's pick that. So that's how they work in tandems. Getting the various, always looking for options, always looking at possibilities, always looking at how will I be served the best as a separate interest, as a separate unit. So in the opposite direction. Hardwired in the opposite direction. To go in the opposite direction. And then the intelligence making, weighing the consequences, the finer points, and then saying, well, yeah, I kind of agree with that one. Let's go with that one. Does that make a little bit?
The Gita says, Krishna said, I'm the intelligent man. If the intelligence refers to the intelligence that we're talking about.
Good intelligence.
Good intelligence, yes.
Good intelligence that would, like that question, like would you follow me if, let's say, would you follow me and not your mind? And good intelligence would say what?
Yes.
And polluted or, conditioned intelligence would go, wait a minute, that will make me a slave. No! There you go. So you weighed the option and you go, well, rejected. That's bad. That's bad or conditioned intelligence. But these are really fine things, and one has to go in deep to be able to. Yes, Nini?
But when one takes the spiritual life, has a guru, develops faith, then they develop a type of spiritual intelligence. So when these things come, then you use that spiritual intelligence, the instructions of guru or Shastra, and then you go to the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like accept or reject according to that intelligence.
But we just read this verse. Devoted to me, the Bhakti yogi brings his senses under proper control. Firmly established is the wisdom of one whose senses are controlled.
I was late to the party.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, we're just discussing, but yeah. So, yeah.
But I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, but it's like, just to clarify what we were talking about, to push the intelligence aside. But you're not going to push your spiritual intelligence aside. That's like your rudder to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to accept this if it aligns with that. And if it doesn't align with the words of Shastra or the words of Guru, then I reject it. That's the goal, yes?
Yes, and that's what we get as part of the mercy that comes to us.
And that comes from our practicing life.
It develops more, yeah, all of that, yeah. It develops.
Yeah.
Initially, that's why initially a verse may mean something to me, but then later it may bring some other depth and some other clarification that I never thought would be there. So all of those things are a consequence of that development, that fine-tuning and getting more and more clarity in terms of the direction and where to go and what to do, what not to do. In general, these are the basics of, these checkpoints. So the domino, why he's saying is, each time something like this happens and one analyzes, well, yeah, that's exactly what happened last time we got into an argument or a situation. But with this information, then you can fine-tune that, because that same or similar kind of situation may come again, but how you react or not react, and pull back a little bit and understand this is what's going on, your practice is actually blossoming. You're progressing. Yes, Nidhi?
I just said yay.
Jai. Yeah, that's being true to myself, being true to yourself, being true to ourselves, and not ultimately I was deceived. No, the biggest deceiver is my own self that I can deceive. If I can understand that principle, then the environment is always friendly. But easier said than done again.
Mahārāj would say, we're the cause of our own suffering. Very difficult thing to accept, especially when you're in the middle of some difficult situation. But if you can, then you see everything is favorable.
And doesn't that then tatte nukampam susumikshmano bunjane vatma krapam vipakam? Then it becomes very clear why. And you go, well, this is my doing that's coming back. This is all reaction. Some is prarabdha, some is like immediate, some is coming from when, I don't know, but it's all that. And then I'm like complaining, I'm such a good person and bad things are happening. I mean, what is this? What kind of God is this?
Everything's conspiring against me.
Yeah, look.
Everything.
Yeah, the FBI, the CIA, everyone's coming at. It's all me. So like that. I mean, there's no end to it. We can be we can be crowned. We can be the emperor. We can live in our world. We have that freedom.
You said it earlier, right? We create
skull-sized kingdom, as Mahārāj would say. Be the king of your own skull-sized kingdom.
Skull-sized kingdom. So yeah, we have that. We have that power, and then
in the terms of psychology, they say that ego likes to be right all the time.
Yeah.
Likes to be ego, like false ego likes to have right, like be right.
Yeah.
So much that even if you think you are yourself a fool, you are going to become a fool.
Ego seeks justification. Always. In a higher sense, it'll always seek justification, not reality.
But even in a negative way.
Justification is justification. What I did is right. You're wrong. That is that carryover of that rebellious element that brought us here. So that's reflected in the entire points of our internal system. That rebellion, in terms of false ego, that rebellion in terms of intelligence, that rebellion in terms of how our mind behaves, that rebellion in our senses. It all reflects that original rebellion. So there's an entire science to how this is folding out. Because otherwise one would go, well, why is everything going against? Like we're going in the outer flow. This is all hardwired. If you study closely, all of this is hardwired to take us away from the center. In its natural way, then the question would arise like, why would God do that? Because you chose. He's just enabling it. He's going, oh, if that's what you want, okay, well, I'm still going to have to help you because you're tatastha. You're feeble. You can't even do that. So, he says, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me come forgetfulness also. So he'll help you forget too. You go, you want to forget me? Sure, let me help you. Here's false ego, here's mind, here's intelligence, go forget me. And people are like, yeah, what God? What? Like that. So that is reflected in entirety in our entire system, and then we're behaving in these tendencies. But when corrective action is like given to us, then we're like, well, what will that do? Well, that will set all of that, in terms of polarity. Then one can see, as it gets done, then one is able to quieten, pull back, and be able to see, like, okay, this is what's happening. Whoa, I was thinking what? This is entirely different. And so, like that, then we can get some scale of when it says reality the beautiful. And then our entire conception of everything is topsy-turvy, is upside down. That's the thing which happens by that choice that we make. Our conception is turned upside down of what what is right, what is wrong. Everything gets turned upside down. And so mind, intelligence, all these different principles, they're based on that upside down principle.
When I read in the Bhagavad Gītā that the mind is like harder to control the wind, I become like very attracted to psychology. So I read psychology to kind of understand the process of the mind and how it's like wired, like you say. And one of the things about the mind is like, the main point, the main service of the mind is to keep you safe. Like whenever you will feel like survival or something is wrong, it brings you to your comfort zone. And what's that comfort zone? What we have learned our whole lives that is not really reality. So this thing of like breaking the pattern and coming out of what we have been taught and what we have learned in our background is like constantly the mind is like pushing us down to our addictions and comfort zones, like laziness and all these improper things. So we have to cut that.
Still, what you're saying is wonderful, but just contemplate on this, that what you said has society, upbringing, background, all of those things as part of the givens for the mind to develop in a certain way, right? But what I'm talking about is like not considering any of those. Do you see do you see the difference? What I'm saying is not considering that part, which is important.
And it's bitter.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
It is.
It feels like suffering.
But before even we reach that stage, we are preconditioned.
Yeah.
So you see the levels of conditioning? What you said is perfect. But before that, it comes, because of that second interest, we have been given a lot of these various senses and mind and of a certain type. And then it comes into being, and then culture, and then background, and then all of these, then basically, nobody knows where we're at. So it's levels and levels and layers of conditioning. It's not just like, oh yeah, just one layer, peel off, and we're home. So that's why Vaishnava, the true persons who are familiar with and know this, they're like, well, whatever background you are, it doesn't really matter. What we're trying to address is the fundamental problem. Not because I was born here or we had this kind of an upbringing. Those are important. Those are really important. I am in no way saying that they're not important. But what this, let's say Bhagavad Gītā and Bhagavatam is pointing towards is of much more fundamental nature. That bhayam dvitiya nibhesatasya adishadapetasya viparyayo asmriti. Viparyayo means ishadapetasya viparyayo viparit. Upside down. It's not like sideways, no, upside down. Viparyayo asmriti. Forget. You completely forget. Dvitiyavani bhesata, because of that second interest that pops up originally, because of that. And so the permanent solution, if you have to look for anything, you have to go to the source, to nip it in the bud. Like, that's the source. That's what this information and this knowledge is for. It cuts across all cultures, cuts across all languages, cuts across all kinds of personalities, and it addresses that you have a second interest that you have to lose if you have to start thinking for what's best for you. So that's what it tries to propel us towards. Like, forget this little, I'm saying little, pardon me, but these things that, I was born here so I'm high, I was born here so I'm low. It doesn't make much difference because we all made that choice. That's why we're all here. That's what's common. So we're to find that fundamental problem and address it the way it is. And if we cannot face it, then we have to go back to the drawing board again and again, as many times as it takes for us to realize that, yes, that is the fundamental issue. Then everything will make sense. Sanskrit or Bhagavad Gītā will not sound foreign, it will sound the closest. He's the closest to us. He says, Suhridam sarva bhutanam, all that moves, that doesn't move, that exists. I am the benefactor. Krishna says that. And Suhrid, actually, benefactor is just like loosely. Suhrid means someone who at heart has your best interest. Suhrid. Your parents cannot be, your family cannot be, no one can be as close as he is to each individual unit of existence. He is saying that. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. And that is the only way one can become tranquil. To know that. That he is my best friend. He is closest to me. There can be no one closer to me than him and have my interest at heart. Only him. And that is the truth. All these other things are fine, but we have to come to that. And we're endeavoring together. How can it be that there's one individual and different cultures call him by different names, they address him as different, but he's saying, I've been with you since eternity. I've been with you. You don't know me? And here he is canvassing himself.
Wow.
He is canvassing himself saying, can you please listen? It's me, Krishna. I mean, that's what I hear in here. It's me. First person. This is recorded. And I didn't find any place else. So that's why this is so dear to me. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. Yatva mam shantim rachyati. Real tranquility will come then. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That will be our wealth. All these other things, doctor will take care of me or this will do. No, he is the one. And it's a matter of our development of faith, how much we can actually feel that, see that. But anyway. So I think we should take a break till next time. So my thing is like, I learn from, I come to learn. I seriously come to learn from each one of you. So, Jai Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Srīdhar Dev Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishwarena Śrīla A.C. Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākur Prabhupada ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai.
Prabhu ki Jai.